Hello, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm back with a word, and this word is don't repeat the same cycle. So, this is based off of a lot of teachings and stuff that God has been having me do pertaining to the course that I'm bringing out. So, and also it came with a movie that I watched called Locked In. This is like confirmation he wanted me to talk about it and bring it up because he's saying some people that may come across it will need to hear this because they are still keeping the cycle going of generational curses or curses that have been on their bloodline this time. Somebody has to break it. So, a lot of us, we have been immune to being childhood trauma becoming adult trauma. We've seen this happen with our parents. We've seen this happen with uncles, aunties, whoever. And we thought these things were okay. It could be failed marriages. It could be the way we raise our children, and some of the things that we thought was okay were not. It can be the way we talk to our children, bring curses up on their name by thinking we can say anything to them, like, oh, you're going to be just like your dad, you're going to be in jail, dead, locked up, whatever, that are word curses. And they need to be broken. It can be being a mom that is not a good one, that you don't take care of your children. Your children are not first in your life. When a man comes, you basically throw your children away for that man. And this happened to you with your mom. It could be a dad that does not, he gets these women pregnant and he never takes care of his children. He goes on to the next woman and does that with her, dumps her, does it, keeps doing it. And he's not in his children's lives. So they don't have a father figure there. It can be so many different things, but he's saying these things cannot keep continuing on and you don't see that. They need to be broken. It could be a mother that has a son and she needs to realize that he is a man of his own. You cannot be getting in his affairs and trying to tell him how to be a man. When he's grown, he has to find his way, and only God can help him be that man if he didn't have a father there to help him. The mom will interfere in his relationships. She will tell him what to do in certain situations. That's not her place. That's God's place. And this is why a lot of stuff happens to men, because they allow their mom and they become mom boys when this has to stop. She gets in the marriage. She ruins the marriage. She telling them what to do, telling the wife what to do. She running their household. These are curses that somebody has to break. The mom, once the man becomes married, that's his family now. He left this is in the Bible, in Genesis. He left the mother and father and he took on a wife. That means when he said that, he said now that is no longer part of you and your wife. You have your own separate family. They should not be telling you what to do in your home. So these are things that he's saying, don't repeat the cycle. That might have happened with them. They let their mama come in and they daddy dictate what they did with they marriage, and that's why it's probably a failed marriage. There's no love, there's no nothing. They just married to each other. And it probably was not orchestrated by God either. So they chose each other. God didn't choose that person for them. They're married to other people's spouses. But these are things that people will continue on and not break the curse. And it affects the next generation, and it keeps going down, and people don't see that these are problems. It has to be broken somewhere. Somebody has to say, I see this problem of men not stepping up and taking care of their responsibility. It has to stop here. Or I see this problem with the women in my family. They not being mothers. They not putting their kids first. They not doing what they supposed to do. They let these men come in their life, and these are wrong men. They need to have them. It stops here. I'm going to go to God for my husband and take care of my kids. You know, they not stopping it. You know, God is not in our family. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to put God in my family and make sure that God is first in my life, in my children's life, in my wife's life, and he's going to be the head, and I'm going to be under him, and my wife going to be under me. And I'm going to do it the correct way. So people are not seeing that these are things that are cycles that keep repeating themselves, and they wonder why it's problems here. Because not only do they not call it out, they don't go to God to break these curses off their family so it does not repeat with their children. And then affects them, and then it keeps going and going and going. And then it's just like, nobody gets it. The devil has taken over the whole bloodline, and nobody's successful. Because there's spirits on your bloodline and curses on your bloodline that is going to continue going until somebody sees it and stops it. And this movie was based off of that. There was the dad. He didn't have a good relationship with his son because of what happened to him. His mom gave him to her brother. The brother mistreated him. He was like a sacrifice to his cousins. He didn't get to finish school, but he still became successful. So he mistreated his son because that happened to him. His son grew up to hate him, so he had hatred on his heart for his dad. He didn't want to forgive him. He hated him because of what he did to him. It'll be a good movie to watch. Please watch it. But in the end, this man connected with his true wife. So she made it known to the daddy that he hurt his son, and why would he do that? She brought it out to him. So the daddy started to sit around and think about it, like, I'm doing what was done to me and I know it hurt me. And then she talked to her husband, told her husband to forgive him. So they sat down, they had it, and then they reunited and they became close again. They started doing family vacations and other stuff. So you have to realize what that curse may be and break it. You have to see what this is and it can be multiple things. It might not just be one thing. It might be a lot. A lot of people, it's multiple that you have to break off. If you don't break these off, then they will follow your children, and then it will affect them, and then it'll keep going on and on and on and on. A lot of decisions we make are not decisions that are right. We're making it off of our feelings, our emotions, not off of God's way, the way things should be done. We're making it off of, sad to say, but some of our parents are witches and warlocks. They don't know no better. Nobody taught them any better. So then they're destroying our life because their life was destroyed. They lived in misery all their life, so they want to come destroy yours. So you have to ask yourself that your parents ain't always right, and 9 times out of 10, if they ain't walking with God, they wrong, period. Because they wasn't living right. God was not in their life. So a lot of decisions you're going to make was wrong, and it's sad if you're doing that and you're actually doing that towards a person. You may be going against a child of God that's actually walking with him. Then now you're gonna reap what you sow. Like, he's gonna get you for anything you have done, because you've done it off of emotion, or you've done it off of revenge, or whatever the case may be. So this is why this can be very destructive. And there's somebody specifically that listens to me where your mother is she had to try to destroy your marriage, destroy your life, getting in your affairs as far as your children with another woman, or getting in your marriage where it is destroyed, it's over. He's talking to, this is a male. So people need to really understand that don't do that. You should be coming to God and doing what he is orchestrating you to do, because now you're gonna have to go through his judgment because you listened to somebody that was never walking with him. They were in, and he's saying this mother is in false religion. She's in church and it's false. So a lot of times that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with religious spirits, religious people, not people that have a personal relationship with God, with Jesus. This is not what this is. And he's saying you are also a religious spirit. You are in church and it's false. It's fake. You're going to a prosperity church. So if somebody on here that listens to me, a male specifically, and he said it's not just a male, it's also a female, and she's married, and he says her mother-in-law is interfering in her marriage, and that's why it's over. So because this is not her person and this is not his person. See, so these messages, the Holy Spirit is saying this. That means that's Jesus. So you have to be walking with him to understand who he, how you're supposed to be guiding and how to break these curses off and not letting these people interfere in your life, because now it will come back to bite you and not them. It will affect them as well, but not the way it will affect you. Because you have that hatred, that unforgiveness, you're doing stuff out of revenge, you're doing stuff because somebody told you to, but it has nothing to do with what God has for you. So We have to be walking with him to understand that this can be detrimental if we are listening to people that don't have a relationship with him. They never been with them. We look at their life and it's let's be honest, they have a failed marriage, they have a failed life, they're not happy. It's not the, if you ask them, is this the way you want us to live, they would tell you no. If I picked my life, it would be this. But it would have been if they was truly with God. But they're not walking with him, so that's why they didn't get that blessing. They're in poverty, they're unhappy, you know, like they would tell you, no, I will want more for myself and my children. But they didn't get that because they were unforgiving. They have, you know, they might have done revenge. They have a lot of bitterness. It's a lot of stuff they're dealing with because they have a lot of trauma from their childhood, and it became adult trauma, and they're pushing that on their children. So I wanted to say that much love and all praise to the Most High.